Did you know that right now, as you sit there watching this, your body is actively producing cancer cells? It is a biological fact that every single day, microscopic mutations occur in our cells. Under normal, healthy circumstances, your immune system acts like a vigilant security guard. It swoops in, identifies these rogue, abnormal cells, and clears them out long before they can multiply, grow, and form a threatening mass. But what if the very foods you are putting into your grocery cart, the exact items with big, bright labels claiming to be heart healthy, diet friendly, or completely natural, are actually tying your immune system's hands behind its back? What if you are unknowingly feeding those mutating cells the exact fuel they need to thrive? You try to do everything right. You genuinely do. You read the labels. You spend a little extra of your hard-earned money on the products that promise longevity and vitality, and you make a conscious effort to steer clear of the obvious junk food aisles. You want to stay active, keep your independence, and enjoy your golden years without the burden of constant medical appointments. Yet despite your best efforts, you might still feel inexplicably sluggish. Your joints might ache with a deep, persistent inflammation more than they should. Your digestion might feel constantly off balance, and your doctor keeps warning you about your steadily rising inflammatory markers during your annual checkups. It is incredibly frustrating to feel like you are doing the right things, but getting the wrong results. The painful truth we need to confront today is that the modern supermarket is an absolute minefield of deceptive marketing. The hidden culprit sabotaging your health isn't just the obvious candy bars or deep-fried fast food. It is a phenomenon we can call stealth inflammation. We are dealing with hidden metabolic disruptors, refined sugars, and synthetic chemicals that are brilliantly masquerading as senior-friendly health foods. These ingredients create an acidic, inflammatory environment inside your body, which is the exact terrain where cellular mutations flourish. Today, we are going to embark on a journey through the grocery store together. We are going to shine a bright light on 5 of these incredibly common, supposedly healthy supermarket staples that are secretly feeding cellular mutation. I promise you, by the end of our time together, the confusion will be gone. You will have a clear, simple, and highly effective list of exact swaps you can make to starve disease, lower your pain levels, and fuel your body with genuine vitality. Before we dive into our grocery basket and start pulling out these imposters, consider subscribing to our channel. We share the kind of deep, science-backed senior health tips and nutritional truths that doctors often overlook or simply do not have the time to explain in brief, 15-minute office visits. And please take a moment right now to let me know in the comments, where are you watching from today? We have built such a wonderful, supportive global community here, and I always love seeing where you all call home. Let us begin our walk through the store right in the dairy section, staring down a breakfast staple that has been heavily marketed to us for decades as the ultimate food for digestion, bone health, and longevity. You probably have a few little plastic cups of fruit-flavored yogurt sitting in your refrigerator right now, feeling good about the probiotics you are getting. But underneath that innocent-looking foil lid lies a metabolic nightmare that specifically threatens the aging body. The core problem here is the staggering, almost unbelievable amount of added refined sugars hidden behind the word fruit. When we consume high amounts of refined, liquid-like sugar on an empty stomach first thing in the morning, our bodies are forced to release a massive surge of insulin to process it. Alongside this insulin spike, the body produces a hormone called insulin-like growth factor 1, or IGF-1. Now, IGF-1 is a fantastic hormone when you are a growing child or a teenager building muscle and bone. But in our senior years, when our primary goal is maintaining healthy cell division rather than rapid growth, high levels of this hormone act like liquid miracle-gro for cellular mutations. Cancer cells have significantly more insulin receptors than healthy cells, meaning they disproportionately feed on these sugar spikes. A comprehensive landmark study published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition followed thousands of participants and found that individuals with the highest dietary intake of added sugars and high glycemic foods had a significantly elevated risk of developing several types of cancer, primarily because of this chronic insulin and IGF-1 cascade. Imagine taking a watering can filled with highly concentrated synthetic liquid fertilizer and pouring it directly onto a small patch of insidious weeds in your pristine garden. That is exactly what that little cup of supposedly healthy blueberry-flavored yogurt is doing to any rogue cells currently circulating in your bloodstream. The solution, however, is wonderfully simple and does not require you to sacrifice your morning routine. You do not have to give up yogurt. Instead, swap out those pre-flavored, sugar-laden cups for thick, plain, unsweetened Greek yogurt. If you miss the sweetness and the texture of the fruit, you can easily stir in a handful of fresh or frozen wild blueberries, which are actually packed with natural cancer-fighting antioxidants, alongside a healthy dash of cinnamon to help regulate your blood sugar. By making this simple swap, you still get the highly bioavailable calcium for your bones and the live probiotic cultures for your gut, but you completely cut off the refined sugar supply line that feeds chronic disease. Moving right along from the dairy aisle, let us wander over to the seafood counter, where another massive deception is staring right back at us from behind the glass display. As we age, we are constantly, relentlessly told by health professionals and magazines to eat more fish. Salmon, in particular, is championed as the ultimate superfood for seniors looking to protect their cognitive function, lubricate aching joints, and safeguard heart health because of those brilliant, brain-protecting omega-3 fatty acids. But we need to have a serious talk about the farm-raised Atlantic salmon that is stacked high and sold cheap in almost every supermarket in the country. This fish is not the miracle food you think it is. In fact, it is a completely different biological animal than its wild counterpart. Farmed salmon are raised in incredibly dense, highly confined aquatic feedlots. Because they are not swimming freely in the ocean eating their natural diet of krill and smaller fish, they are fed heavily processed pellets made of corn, soy, vegetable oils, and synthetic pigments. They literally have to be fed a chemical dye just to give their flesh that recognizable pink color, which would otherwise be a sickly, unappetizing pale gray due to their unnatural diet. This engineered diet fundamentally changes the biology of the fish, loading their tissues up with pro-inflammatory omega-6 fatty acids, which drive chronic inflammation in the human body, while simultaneously turning them into literal sponges for industrial pollutants. A startling, comprehensive global assessment published in the journal Science analyzed over 2 metric tons of salmon from various regions and discovered that farmed salmon accumulated significantly higher levels of carcinogenic toxins, including polychlorinated biphenyls, commonly known as PCBs, and dioxins compared to their wild-caught counterparts. Picture yourself trying to drink clean, life-giving water out of a rusted, toxic industrial barrel. That is the exact burden your cells are experiencing when trying to extract nutrients from heavily contaminated, artificially raised farmed fish. Your liver has to work overtime to clear those toxins, pulling energy away from cellular repair. To protect your cellular health and lower your systemic inflammation, you must become an uncompromising label detective at the seafood counter. Swap out the farm-raised Atlantic salmon for genuine wild-caught Alaskan salmon, whether it is sockeye, coho, or king. I know that fresh wild salmon can be expensive or hard to find depending on where you live. If that is the case, canned wild Alaskan salmon or even tinned sardines are absolutely fantastic, budget-friendly alternatives. They deliver all the pure, unadulterated omega-3s your brain, heart, and joints desperately crave, completely free from the toxic, inflammatory baggage of the aquatic feedlot. Now, let us stroll over to the bakery aisle, a place where the sheer volume of bold health claims is enough to make anyone's head spin. You likely bypass the white bread, feeling proud as you reach for the hearty-looking loaf that loudly proclaims to be 100% whole wheat or multigrain. We have been conditioned to believe that these dark, hearty grains are the ultimate staple for keeping our blood sugar stable, lowering cholesterol, and providing essential fiber for our aging digestive tracts. The heartbreaking tragedy of modern food processing is that commercial whole wheat bread is ground into such an incredibly fine flour using high-speed steel rollers that your body processes it almost exactly like pure, refined table sugar. When you eat a slice of this highly processed modern wheat, it hits your bloodstream with alarming speed. Your blood glucose spikes dramatically, leading to a biological process where those excess sugar molecules bind to proteins and fats in your blood. This bonding creates dangerous compounds called advanced glycation end products, which are very aptly abbreviated as AGEs. These age compounds literally age your cells from the inside out. They cause immense oxidative stress and severe inflammation that actively damages your cellular DNA, creating the perfect chaotic environment for cancer cells to initiate and multiply. A pivotal, large-scale study featured in the prestigious journal Cancer Epidemiology, Biomarkers and Prevention tracked thousands of older adults and conclusively found that those consuming a diet with a high glycemic load, which in the modern Western diet is heavily driven by highly processed grains like commercial whole wheat bread, were at a substantially higher risk for developing cellular mutations leading to certain types of cancer. Imagine your delicate blood vessels and capillaries rusting like old iron pipes left out in the acidic rain, becoming stiff, brittle, and inflamed. That is the insidious, silent work of ages coursing through your system after a seemingly healthy sandwich. But do not despair, because you do not have to abandon your beloved toast or sandwiches entirely. The actionable takeaway here is to look to the past for your bread. Seek out genuine, traditionally fermented sourdough bread or high-quality sprouted grain breads. The ancient, slow fermentation process used in real sourdough utilizes wild yeast and lactobacillus bacteria that actually pre-digest the starches in the grain. This remarkable natural process dramatically lowers the glycemic index of the bread, preventing those dangerous sugar spikes. Furthermore, sprouting grains neutralizes anti-nutrients and breaks down complex starches, making the bread a true, slow-burning fuel source for your body rather than a dangerous spark for chronic inflammation and cellular aging. I know we are covering an immense amount of ground today, and completely rethinking your trusted grocery list can feel a little overwhelming at first. Taking control of your health in a world filled with deceptive marketing requires courage. If you are finding these scientific insights helpful and you are feeling empowered to make better choices so far, please take a quick second to give this video a thumbs up. It tells me that you truly value this deep dive, no-nonsense scientific approach, and it actively helps our little community reach more seniors across the globe who desperately need to hear this life-saving truth. Let us continue our journey and head over to the condiment aisle, where the true silent saboteur of the health-conscious senior is hiding right in plain sight. You do the hard work. You dutifully chop up your fresh, vibrant organic greens, maybe add some walnuts, cucumbers, and tomatoes, creating a beautiful cancer-fighting salad. And then, acting on decades of flawed dietary advice, you reach for a plastic bottle of light, fat-free, or diet salad dressing to keep the meal supposedly heart-healthy and low in calories. This is perhaps the most tragic and counterproductive mistake you can make for your gut health and immune system. When gigantic food manufacturers remove the natural, satiating fats from these dressings, they completely destroy the flavor and the mouthfeel. To fix this, they have to replace the missing fat with a toxic chemical cocktail of artificial sweeteners, high fructose corn syrup, and highly refined inflammatory seed oils like soybean or canola oil. But worst of all, they pump these diet dressings full of synthetic emulsifiers to keep the watery liquid and the chemical additives from separating in the bottle on the shelf. These emulsifiers are, for all practical purposes, industrial detergents, and they wreak absolute havoc on your delicate gut microbiome. Your gut is the literal headquarters of your immune system. It is the very defense force tasked with hunting down and neutralizing cancer cells before they can spread. A groundbreaking, deeply concerning study published in the journal Nature demonstrated that common dietary emulsifiers, specifically things like carboxymethylcellulose and polysorbate 80, found in almost all commercial diet dressings, aggressively alter the composition of the gut microbiota. This alteration destroys the protective mucus lining of the intestines, leading to chronic, low-grade systemic inflammation and strongly promoting the development of colorectal cancer in models. Imagine purposefully coating the delicate, life-giving, nutrient-rich soil of a vibrant garden with a thick layer of synthetic industrial lubricant. Absolutely nothing healthy can grow there. The protective barrier is completely destroyed and disease takes root. The swap for this catastrophic salad saboteur is incredibly easy, immensely cheaper, and so much more delicious. Throw those chemical-laden plastic bottles in the trash today. You can make your own incredibly healthy dressing in 30 seconds right in your own kitchen by simply whisking together high-quality extra virgin olive oil, a generous squeeze of fresh lemon juice, a splash of raw apple cider vinegar, and whatever dried herbs you love. The robust, healthy fats in the extra virgin olive oil will actually help your aging body absorb the crucial fat-soluble vitamins, like vitamin A, D, E, and K, directly from your salad greens. You will be actively fighting inflammation and nourishing your cells instead of unwittingly poisoning your immune system's headquarters. Finally, we arrive at the frozen food section, where a massive billion-dollar new trend is completely taking over the freezer shelves. You have undoubtedly seen the massive explosion of plant-based or vegan meat alternatives, the bleeding burgers, the faux sausages, and the imitation chicken nuggets that promise to be infinitely better for your aging heart and a savior for the planet. Because we are so often lectured to eat less red meat as we get older to protect our cardiovascular health, countless well-meaning seniors are dutifully swapping their traditional, single-ingredient beef or chicken for these high-tech, futuristic patties. You assume you are making a pristine, clean, plant-forward choice. The grim reality is that these modern imitation meat products are the absolute pinnacle of hyper-palatable, ultra-processed foods. They are entirely engineered in laboratories, not grown on farms. They strip cheap proteins from peas or genetically modified soy using incredibly harsh chemical solvents like hexane, a neurotoxic byproduct of gasoline refining. Then they bind these isolated protein powders back together with heavily refined inflammatory seed oils, artificial flavorings, synthetic texturizers, and genetically engineered compounds just to mimic the bleeding texture and mouthfeel of real meat. Our human bodies, evolved over thousands of years, simply do not recognize these highly manipulated synthetic chemical matrices as real digestible food. The constant dietary exposure to these novel, ultra-processed foods puts your liver and kidneys into a state of chronic overdrive as they desperately try to detoxify and process the foreign, unrecognizable substances. A massive, sweeping epidemiological study published in the highly respected medical journal The Lancet examined the intricate dietary habits of nearly 200,000 people over many years. The researchers found a chilling correlation. Every 10% increase in the consumption of ultra-processed foods was associated with a significant 2% increase in overall cancer mortality, specifically highlighting the insidious, hidden dangers of these heavily engineered, supposedly healthy meat substitutes. Think of it like taking a beautifully complex, natural wooden antique heirloom and replacing it with a cheap, toxic, off-gassing plastic replica. It might look somewhat similar from a distance. It might even fool you for a moment, but its foundation is entirely artificial, devoid of real character, and eventually it just crumbles and pollutes its environment. The actionable, empowering step here is to completely reject the laboratory experiment and return to the earth. If your goal is to eat more plant-based meals to support your digestion and heart, you should choose whole, beautifully simple, single-ingredient proteins. Embrace organic black beans, hearty lentils, or versatile chickpeas. And if you do choose to eat meat, which can be wonderfully nourishing, step away from the factory-farmed options and opt for modest, high-quality portions of pasture-raised chicken or grass-fed, grass-finished beef. Your body possesses an ancient, profound wisdom. It knows exactly how to break down and extract life-giving, cancer-fighting nutrients from real, whole foods, but it is deeply confused and damaged by chemical imitations. We have walked through the entire grocery store together today, navigating the confusing aisles and the deceptive marketing. More importantly, You have just armed yourself with incredible, life-saving knowledge that you can put into action immediately. To recap our vital journey today, we are confidently swapping out those sugar-loaded, artificially flavored yogurt cups for rich, plain Greek yogurt, naturally sweetened with fresh, antioxidant-rich berries. We are leaving the toxic, inflammatory, farm-raised salmon behind in the display case in favor of pure, wild-caught Alaskan varieties or simple, nutrient-dense sardines. We are definitively ditching the heavily processed, blood sugar-spiking whole wheat bread for the ancient wisdom of traditionally fermented sourdough. We are banishing the chemical-laden, gut-destroying light salad dressings and joyfully making our own simple, heart-healthy olive oil vinaigrettes. And finally, we are completely ignoring the ultra-processed, laboratory-created plant-based meat substitutes and choosing true whole foods from the earth like lentils or high-quality pasture-raised proteins. Making these dietary changes might feel a little bit strange or daunting at first, especially when you have been told for decades by clever advertisements that those brightly packaged items were exactly what you needed to stay healthy and vibrant. It is entirely normal to feel a bit of frustration that the rules seem to keep changing. But I want to remind you right here and right now that you hold the ultimate undeniable power over your own vitality. The aching joints, the persistent afternoon fatigue, the terrifying fear of cellular disease and decline, these things absolutely do not have to be an inevitable, inescapable part of getting older. You have the profound ability to fundamentally change the environment inside your body, to literally alter your biology with every single bite of food you take. You have the power to turn off the inflammatory triggers, soothe your immune system, and starve those rogue mutating cells simply by returning to real, unadulterated, God-given food. Your golden years should be spent deeply enjoying your hard-earned independence. They should be spent playing joyfully with your grandchildren, walking in nature, tending to your garden, and traveling to see the people and places you love, not sitting anxiously in a sterile waiting room waiting for test results. I want you to remember that your health, your mobility, and your peace of mind are absolutely worth fighting for every single day with every choice you make at the checkout counter. So I want to hear from you. What is one simple, actionable swap from today's list that you are committing to make this very week? Let me know down in the comments below, because I read every single one and we keep each other accountable here. If this conversation brought you real value, if it opened your eyes and gave you a clear roadmap on how you can take back control of your health destiny, please hit that like button and subscribe to our growing family here. Do it because your health is worth fighting for, and we are in this journey together. Remember this always. Getting older is a beautiful privilege denied to many, but aging with vibrant, unstoppable health is a choice you make every day. Make it a great day, take care of yourself, and I will see you in the next one.